Hello, I'm Alex Bowles from LearnToProgram.tv, and in this video I'll be showing you how to set up Eclipse with Python and how to set up your working environment. So the first thing that we need to do is actually grab Python. I'm going to be setting this up for a Mac, however the setup for Windows is quite similar. So you should be okay following this video for setting it up for Windows and for Linux as well. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is go to python.org/download. And you'll see a page similar to this with two headers, one saying alternative implementations and one saying download Python. We want to visit the download Python section. And when we're there, you'll see the first line says that there's two versions, Python 2.7 and Python 3.2. You'll also notice on the left hand side there's a beta schedule, and beta 3.3 is arriving soon. If Beta 3.3 is available whilst you're watching this video, don't bother getting it. It's not going to be the same as Python 3.2, and so some of the things are going to be different, which I teach you might not be written in the same way in Python 3.3. So if we stick with Python 3.2, which is better than Python 2.7 because it's newer and more secure and also faster for processing, then we'll all be on the same page and you'll be able to follow along properly. So if you scroll down to the relevant area where it's 3.2, and you'll see that there's a list of different installation packages. The first two are for Windows, and the top one, if you're on Windows, is the one you'll want to get. That's the one which doesn't include the source code, so it's a smaller download, and it's a binary file, which means that it's an executable. You can just run it and it'll install it. And then the second one is the one which you ignore. Now if you go down again, you'll see the Mac OS X ones, and the top one is 32 and 64-bit, and that is for 10.6 and 10.7, which is Snow Leopard and Lion. I'm using Lion, so I'm going to have to be downloading the top one. However, if you're using anything between 10.3 and 10.6, then you can get either of the two. Or sorry, 10.6 can get either of the two, but 10.3 to 10.5 will have to get the bottom one. I would recommend, if you're not on 10.6 or 10.7, to upgrade if you can, because it's going to make your life a lot easier, because 32-bit is obviously slower. However, if your processor doesn't allow 64-bit, then it's up to you. And then if you go down to the bottom two, these are the ones for Linux and Unix, and you can use these on Mac OS X. However, since there's an installer, you may as well just use the installer. Using these two, if you're using Linux, I assume that you know how to use the command line or the terminal, and you will have to be using the terminal to actually install these. There will be packages for most Linux versions, so you should be okay. If you need to download a package, it should be ready, and you can use apt-get up install, so you should be okay. But I'm going to be downloading the 3.2.3, and if we click on OK, and it will start downloading. In the meantime, I'll be going over to Eclipse. Eclipse.org/downloads is the web page you want to be visiting, and you'll see there's Eclipse Classic. Now this is the version of Eclipse that we want, because Eclipse is primarily used for Java development, and so you get a lot of variations which are for different types of developers and so on. But with Eclipse Classic, it's the most basic one, and it's the best one because we're going to be adding a add-on which will allow us to use the Python interpreter within Eclipse. The reason why we're going to get Eclipse is because it is it's a good IDE, it's well supported, and also it's universal. You can use it on any platform. If we go back to the page, you'll notice that there's on the drop-down list there's three different operating systems. Your one should be chosen by default anyway, but if it's not, just click on there and you'll be able to go across to the relevant one. And we're going to be downloading the 64-bit version. Okay, and once we got to that, you'll see a link in the middle. It'll be a mirror, so don't worry about what country it says. It should be a country fairly close to where you are, and that's all we need to do for that. And then for Python, all you need to do is click on it and run it. It will extract all of the information from the DMG file, and then that's everything that we need from Python done. And we're going to go and go into our applications, And if we scroll down, you'll see that we have Python 3.2, and from there, inside there, you'll see there's 4 files, and there's Python documentation, a launcher, an update shell, and a file called idle. Now, the idle application is one that we're going to be using and wanting to keep, so we're going to drag that down to the dock just to make it easy to find in the future. And we can minimize that again. And once this is finished downloading the 173 megabytes that there is, then we're going to have to put that on dock as well, because Eclipse doesn't actually install, it's just a shortcut. And so to make it so it's easy to find again, if we have it on the dock, then you don't have to go through all your downloads area again. Okay, so now that the Eclipse file is finished downloading, what we can do is we can just go and run this by, extract it, which will put it all inside a folder somewhere. And once that folder's extracted, then what we need to do is drag it down to the dock, and we can then run all our setup on the workspace. Okay, so if you open up your Finder, and you'll find the Eclipse icon looks like this sort of moon. And what we're going to do is just going to drag that icon down to the dock to make it easier to find again in the future. And we can close that window down. And if we open up Eclipse, you'll get this little warning saying that it was downloaded from the internet. Click on Open. And you'll see here that we get Eclipse Indigo. Now, Eclipse Indigo is just the version name, so 3.7 is called Indigo. That's all it means. So if yours is slightly different, don't worry about it. It's just means that you've got a later version. So from there, just click on OK. And the first thing that we need to do after it's finished loading up this workspace is go to Help and Install New Software. Now, where it says Install New Software, we need to type in a web address, and this is going to be pydev.org/updates, and click on Add, and it will start searching, and it will find the pydev, and it will find another one called pydev Mylin. Now, the Mylin one you don't want to get because you don't need it. So just download the pydev normal one and then click on Next, and it will start calculating the requirements. This will take a few minutes. Once that's finished, you'll see that we get this page which is the install details, and you'll see that the top one is just pydev for Eclipse. That's all you should have listed, and just click on Next, agree to the licensing terms, and click on Finish. It's going to install the software, run it in the back. So I'm just going to run it in the background, and then after this we'll be setting up the rest of the workspace. You'll get a little pop-up which says, do you trust these certificates? And that's for Aptana, pydev, and pydev Aptana. All you have to do is just tick it and then click on OK. And it'll continue, and once the install is finished, it'll ask you to restart Eclipse. Just click on OK or Restart Now, and it'll load it all up again. And then from there, what we're going to do is we have to go into the preferences for Eclipse. For this workspace launcher, you can click on this little checkbox here, which will set it as default and won't ask you whether you want to launch it again, so you won't see this page again. If you click on OK. And now that we've got this loaded up, if we go into our preferences, you'll see that we have a tab called pydev. If you click on there, click on the extension for it, and go down to Interpreter Python. From there, you can see that I've got mine already set up, which is Python 3.2. However, to do this, I'll just remove it and create a new one. You need to go into Browse, Applications. Actually, no, you'll need to go into your devices, your hard drive, go to User, and then scroll down and find Local. From Local, you need to go into Bin, and then from Bin, you'll need to go into Python 3.2. Make sure it's Python 3.2, and there are other ones here which have like W's on the end and so on. So make sure that you choose the correct one, Python 3.2. If your version is later, it'll be Python 3.3, for example. But make sure that you go with Python 3.2 and click on open. And if you just rename the top to Python 3.2 and click on OK, it'll find all these libraries. Just click on OK, and that is exactly how I had it set up a second ago. And then from there you'll also want to go into General, expand that, go down to Editors and go into Text Editors. From there you'll see a checkbox. Yours won't be checked, and it's called Show Line Numbers. You want to make sure that that is checked. It'll make it much easier for us to compare code should you run into any problems later on in the course. And if you do run into any problems, then you can look and see what your line looks like compared to what mine looks like, because the compiler will give you errors depending on which line the errors are on and so on. But we'll go into that in a bit more detail later on. So from there, just click on OK, and if we go over to File, you'll want to go into New and click on Project. Once you've gone to Project, you'll see a drop-down list which looks like this, and at the bottom there'll be a PyDev. You'll want to click on expand it and click on PyDev Project. If you click on Next, you'll see that you get this little Create Project page, and I'm just going to call this Python and then Learn to Program. And from there, you can call this whatever you want, by the way, it makes no difference what you call it. And then where it says grammar version, you want to change that to 3.0, and the interpreter change from default to Python 3.2. From there, just click on Next, and then click on Finish. And you'll see at the top right hand page that we have PyDev and Java. You can right click on Java and click on Close. I'll just remove that so you don't have that in the way. What you'll want to do in the top right hand corner is click on this little table sort of button and click down on Other, and then go to PyDev and click on OK. What this will do is it will set up another of these PyDevs, and it should give you a look which has this Package Explorer on the left hand side. If not, then go up to Window, and in your Show View you will be able to find Package Explorer, and if you click on that it'll open it up as well. And that is all that you need open. If you look on the left hand side here, you'll see that we have a folder called Learn Python. To create one of those, just go on New and then click on Folder and then type in Learn Python, and that is all that you need to continue with these videos. So thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.